Hello everyone, I'm ExtraCheesy87 and this is Let's Play Ace Attorney Miles is Doing Stuff Part 9. In the previous video, we moved on to the latter phase of Case 2. We've learned how, or we've hypothesized how Mr. Hicks perished, and now we're just trying to get the last bit of evidence to prove that. This is a rather large piece of cargo. There's a tag on it, sir. Let's see. Aleph Red Statue. Never heard of it. Aleph? Nor I. But all I care about is that we can prove it wasn't here at the time of the crime. Let's get to investigating, sir. Fucking chop that goat up, Metroid. Look at here. Do not go touch my possessions without my permission. Don't rush up on me like that, pal. I've shot men for well, I tried to shoot them. That's why I took my gun away. We have some standards here in Lost Tokyo. So, this belongs to Mr. LeBlanc, does it? I should see what else I could find out from him. You guys got anything to say first? If you spot anything off, you come and tell me right away, okay, pal? Roger, sir. I ain't never had anyone call me sir before. Or Roger. It's rather unusual for Gumshoe to be so directing. He must outrank this officer. If you're running any trouble, just leave it up to me, okay? Yes, sir. Watch out, Detective Gumshoe. Scruffy, I think your ego's in need of some deflating. I was following in your footsteps, sir. I want to try patronizing my subordinates. Cruel and unforgiving to the detective, even in front of his own subordinate. If I may have a word with you, Francesca, I don't think you have time for idle chatter. You still need to prove to me that your hypothetical situation is in fact reality. Yeah, okay, fine, whatever. You, I cannot say you have the guts to show me a piece of art at this time, but from a single glance, I can already tell it's mostly worthless. We've already shown you this now I think about it. But you always gotta keep the fucking thing on them. I take it this large piece of cargo belongs to you, Mr. LeBlanc? Of course it is of mine. I shipped this a fine piece of art from Europe. The Aleph Red Statue is worth 10 million cents, no much, maybe money more. Mr. LeBlanc's reason for choosing this plane must have been the large cargo hold. 10 million cents? Mr. Edgeworth, how much is that? I suggest you stop trying to calculate how many packets of noodles that makes, Detective. Darn, how'd you do that? It's honestly not that expensive, it's only 10 million cents, considering how big it is. I feel like you keep getting better and better at seeing right through me every year. Though I grow with each revolution of the planet around the sun, I have the distinct impression he continues to madly spin in place. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, so that 10 million cents, is that in euros or dollars? Does it really make a difference to our case? Well, I mean, maybe. Mr. LeBlanc, there is a chance your cargo is related to our murder case. I was wondering if you allow us to examine it a bit closer. How about you examine this a little bit closer, American swine? It is a very valuable piece of art, so no, there will be no touching. Okay. You know anything about the shit in here? Well, you show me something of no value. Show me the bread first, and maybe we will talk. He wants me to pay him before he'll comment on this? But like, see, what if he fell? Okay. I don't actually know what I'm supposed to do. I already showed you the cloth. You know anything about the cell phone? Keeping track of this many pieces of... Okay, we've seen this. Takes back to... It won't let me, like, skip through it, please. Earlier when we held down right click it started accelerating, but Too bad for Miss Tenario, this design is unmarketable. Or why don't they sell them in the airport and have a bargain basement sale? Buy one, get one free. If you win the raffle, you get one more for free. How about those ideas, sir? I think if they did that, everyone would lose. Good job, officer. Mr. LeBlanc is certainly not an easy person to hold back. I would think this, sir. It's all part of the job, even if you did eventually get by. Well, I have a few things to ask him anyway, so it worked out in your favor this time. Thank you very much, sir. Next time I'll be sure not to let anyone through, sir. Even if it takes my life in the process, sir, I will die for the company, sir. I appreciate the sentiment. However, we can't have people getting hurt on the job either. I guess it's only if you've already clicked the dialogue that it'll fast skim. Okay, so I guess we just gotta try and show you more shit. Oh, wait, do we have any logic-y things? We have smuggling and art. Well, they're somewhat connected. Mr. LeBlanc has something to do with the smuggling ring. Then it's possible this fake statue was brought on board in Zhengfa. I think I need to question him a bit further. Okay. How do you know it's fake, man? That thing could be made of real wood. What? Oh, I'm doing the thing where I'm clicking on it, but I'm not clicking on it again. Yeah. About your statue, Mr. LeBlanc. Because I click on it and then it doesn't do anything. My brain's like, oh, well, you gotta hit the button. No. About your statue. I wonder if it might be a fake. You what? How dare you say mine is a fake? I suspect that your statue might be the target of an international smuggling ring. Don't you say such a fantastical thing. Those thieves were not in the air. I have the certification of my cargo right here. Do you mean the cargo certification document? Mr. Zinc LeBlanc? Why didn't you say so earlier? Please show it us at once. I can't read this shit. I can't read this. What does it say? It says a plane a day. A cargo was put on the plane in Europe. And there you have it, Miles Edgeworth. Too bad for you. This statue was brought on board in Europe, just as it states in the certificate. That's... Which means there never was a window of time which the statue wasn't sitting there. Well, it could have still been offloaded temporarily, you know, when we had to put the new stuff in. I respectfully disagree. We can't discount the theory until I see the statue for myself. Then you can have your wish as long as you give me 1 million cents. Look at yourself and see that I am right. I've seen this somewhere before. This is the Aleph Red? Gives off such a feeling of art, I can practically smell it. This statue has a high amount of historical value. If it was unveiled at the museum in Europe, I bought this country to exhibit it. I believe a closer look is warranted here. I mean, honestly, if that shit was just regularly carved, it would probably be worth 10 million cents. I mean, I guess it is, you know, old-timey, whenever this game came out money. I mean, if we said, you know, $1,200 can get you a house, I guess maybe it is worth 10 million cents for 2008 or whatever. 9, 10, 11, something like that. I don't know when this game came out, if I'm being honest. This is the DS, right? DS was like 2007 to 2012. Maybe a little bit earlier. I'm trying to remember. No, the DS was more like, it was like 2006 to 2011 or something like that. It was when that shit was popping. Something like that, maybe? This is the infamous Aleph Red statue. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? Did you find something? There's something wrong with this picture. We should examine it in more detail. Hey, it's got red eyes. Is this spot connected to the evidence I hold?
Eureka!
Eyes are awfully orange, don't you think? Yeah, and pretty. They remind me of sunsets when I was in grade school, sir, back before the cloud of smog destroyed the sun. I don't think you see what I'm talking about. Oh, I do, but it's really like the color of the sun when it's setting, sir. Ah, the memories back when I was not living at the noodle stand, had so many hopes. I said, I'm gonna be a big city detective and help people out, and I'll be loved and appreciated. People won't call me pig or swine and spit on me, and then my best friend won't constantly get my salary cut so that I have to live out in the trash. It'll be good, guys. I remember standing out in that field, spinning with my arms out until I felt ill. I don't care about sunsets. Focus, detective. What color are the eyes in this photo? Huh? Ah, sure, they're red. As I thought, the statue is a fake. Well, maybe this is the real one and that's the fake one. Maybe it's the museum that got duped. Mr. LeBlanc? What do you want? Do you not know I am busy man? I'll allow you 2 seconds for your answer. Hey, Lafred, I suppose this is your pride and joy, is it not? 1 second. Alright. Yeah, I suppose this is your pride and joy, is it not? It is biggest trophy on European ship. Do you know why I wanted to possess this statue? Because it is rectangular. It is very big. Like me. The trigger started 17 years ago. Better grab a chair, sir. Sounds like this is gonna be a long story. We'll have a flashback, maybe even a bespoke piece of art, sir. Mr. LeBlanc, I regret to inform you, and you have my heartfelt sympathy, but... What is it? A sympathy? For what? In my country, we have no sympathy. You see, I'd like you to compare the eyes. The large fellow there has very bright and pretty eyes compared to you. I wasn't talking about the two of us. I meant the eyes of the statue in front of us and the one in this photo. Why the sudden yelling? Oh, now then. Oh! Here's a photo on display at the museum in Europe. Do you see, Mr. LeBlanc? Maybe it's one in a series. Maybe it's like, oh, that's the red-eyed guardian and this is the orange-eyed guardian, and together, you know, one tells nothing but the truth and the other only tells lies. Type beat, you know? Something like that. The statue before us is a fake. A fake? I believe that even further examination will be required. Now that we have confirmed this is indeed a fake. There must be some sort of proof that this was brought on board in Zingfa. And I will present to you evidence that will resolve the remaining contradiction. The remaining contradiction. Yes, the remaining contradiction. So this Aleph Red is a fake. An art dealer isn't looking too happy about it either, sir. I'll get to the bottom of this for his sake as well as mine. How do I see that it's like... oh, you have to hit the arrow key. What's this? Statue looks like it's stepping all over its neighbor's cloth cover. Kinda resembles its owner's attitude in a sense. You? Who said that? Who said that? My clothing sim is not being stepped on by anyone. It is too expensive for me to allow that to happen. Forgive the trespass of my subordinate. Why should I forgive if the dress pierces? Unless it is an expensive dress, you keep it. What are you talking about, sir? Yeah.
Eureka!
There is clearly a contradiction here. What are you going on about? It's just a simple case of cargo cover getting stuck up under another piece of cargo. That's not possible. But it is. It shouldn't be this way, but the statue is on top of the cloth. Supposing that the neighboring piece of cargo was brought on board in Zhengfa, there's no way that any part of it should wind up under something from Europe. Which means this fake statue was smuggled on board. But then what about the cargo certificate? Let me ask in return, what about Agent Hicks? Why did he come down here in the middle of the flight? There's only one reason why, to secure proof of the smuggling activity aboard this flight. So you say, but I don't believe he had to do that mid-flight. He could have just as easily inspected all the cargo after the plane landed. That may be true, however you have it backwards, Francesca. Sure, Agent Hicks could have waited until after the plane had landed, but he had a reason for coming down to the cargo hold. Suppose he had found the fake at the airport. It would have been after the swap had occurred. At that time, the suspicion would naturally fall into the statue's owner. He would have no way to prove the statue was switched without his knowledge. Which means there's someone involved who is forging or modifying car. I'm kind of surprised they haven't immediately brought up that, like, technically our whole submission, or, you know, theory here is disproved by this single piece of evidence. Now, this evidence is presumably unreliable, but you would think it would get brought up. Because if he was seen at 5, and this... Actually, no, never mind. Because if we're saying that... No, because we're saying he fell before this thing got added. So yeah, this does disprove this whole theory. And presumably it'll get brought up, but I feel like it should be brought up already. I guess the victim knew the real version of this is gonna get nabbed, huh? While this photo could be seen as nothing more than a simple souvenir, it was in fact taken to be used as a reference document later on. Next, Agent Hicks had to secure proof that the smuggling had taken place. He came down here to take a picture of the cargo hold, a rather empty one at that, right before the fake statue could be loaded on board. A photo of the hold missing a valuable piece of cargo would have been proof enough. And for that, all he had to do was hold the Zhengfa cargo crew and arrest the smuggler. Exactly. This only goes to prove my theory. The statue was not in the cargo hold during the Europe-Zhengfa leg of the trip. There would not have been enough height from which Agent Hicks could have fallen to his death. Officer? Move the statue immediately. I don't know, it seems kind of heavy. I want a thorough examination of the floor underneath now. Miss Von Karma, I'm ready to report my findings. Go on. After moving the Aleph Red statue out of the way, we tested the area under it with luminol, and there was a reaction. Somebody got busy here. Ooh-wee. I see there was a reaction to luminol, an indication there was blood in that spot. Can we stop looking at it now, sirs? It would seem my deductions were correct after all. Suppose it would appear that way. The culprit cleaned the blood up well. And how do you think the killer did that? How did the killer clean up all the blood? Take that! The killer used the bloody cloth I found inside the suitcase to clean up the mess. They had the need to clean up all the blood before the plane landed in Zhengfa. Yes, because otherwise the cargo crew would have discovered it during the layover. So you guys are saying that the murder happened before the plane landed in Zhengfa? There's no other conceivable timeline for the events of the murder. But if that's true, then that throws a certain person's testimony into doubt. The murder occurred before we landed in Zhengfa, and this becomes highly suspect. Recall Miss Meal's testimony about Agent Hicks in regard to when we departed from Zhengfa. I saw Mr. Hicks sitting in his seat at 5 a.m., you know? She claims Agent Hicks is alive at the time of the service calls, but that totally contradicts the facts, sir. Or maybe our made-up facts contradict her testimony? I mean, it kind of is a two-way street. I mean, I would say our theory has more credence to it, but at the end of the day, we don't have any direct evidence of what we're saying, or we have little. Why would she lie about something like that? I think the only person who can answer that is Miss Meal herself. "3:35 p.m. lower deck cargo hold." Miss Meal? You can't prosecute me if I'm asleep. Miss Meal? Huh? Do you recall what you said earlier? About when you answered some service calls and we were departing from Zhengfa? Huh? You said that Mr. Hicks was sitting in his seat at that time. However, that is simply not possible. Because Mr. Hicks was dead long before we even touched down in Zhengfa. Huh? Oh, she fucking got me. Miss Cammy Meal? Maybe I didn't see what I thought I did. No one can make a mistake so large, Miss Meal. Partner, I'm pretty sure I could, pal. I make that kind of boo-boo all the time. This is going nowhere. I don't see a better way of resolving this contradiction. Very well, Miss Meal, if you please, tell me about your alibi during the time span. From just before we were to land at 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. when the body was found. Are you telling me I'm a suspect, Mr. Edgeworth? First, we shall take a sip of the sauce before we go into this detailed, intricate, compelling alibi. Yeah. 3 to 4, I was in flight attendant's room by my lonesome. And from 5 to 6, I was in the flight attendant's room by my lonesome. How is a man supposed to react to a testimony like that? Miss Meal, wake up! I'll have you held in contempt of cargo hold. She fell asleep again. It looks like the only way I'm going to be able to wake her up is by pressing her. Edgeworth, you can't just go around pressing women when you want to, alright? Kind of problematic. Or men. Can't press men either. Oh, they almost got me. They almost caught me.
Hold it!
In the trap. Miss Meal, wake up. I'm awake. I'm awake. Miles Edgeworth, I demand you do something about this flight attendant this instant. I'm just saying, if you don't whip her, you're a sexist. It's just the rules, okay? If you casually whip the dudes all the time, but then you won't whip the woman when she's in contempt of cargo hold, it doesn't make any sense. None of the creators are meeting the allegations. Why ask me to wake her when you can finally put that whip to an appropriate use? We believe in equal opportunity whipping on this channel.
Hold it!
If I remember correctly, food was being served in first class in the lounge between the hours of 3 and 4 a.m. Yeah, but that kind of stuff's run by Miss Rhoda. Then what were you doing in the attendance room at that time? Studying? Eating and having a most delicious dream? You mean you were neglecting your duties? Plane kind of flies itself. No way, sleeping's part of our job too, you know?
Hold it!
Miss Meal, how many times do I have to repeat myself? Wake up! I'm awake, I'm awake. This is making me kind of tired. Might need to let's take a second sip of the sauce. Ouch! What'd you whip me for, sir? Oh, what did I miss? A poor detective be on the receiving end of a lash in your stead. Ah, sorry about that. Guess you could say he's my whipping boy. You can make amends for that by continuing your testimony.
Hold it!
So you were alone the entire time, were you? Yep, no one else even popped their head in to say hi. Well, I think a contradiction just popped in to say hi. What should I do? Should I raise an objection? I mean, we know Lady kind of came there, but does it say anything? Does it have an actual piece of evidence? Okay, at 5:40? Okay. Miss Meal, there's a clear contradiction embedded in your testimony. Huh? What are you talking about? It's not possible you were alone in the attendance room the whole time from 5 to 6 because look at this receipt.
Take that!
I wonder if you would be so kind to take a look at this receipt, Miss Meal? Huh? Receipt? For what? It's for the suitcase Miss Tenario bought. Now, if I may direct your attention to the timestamp, as you can see, it clearly says 5:40 a.m., Miss Tenario. Yes? Huh? Why is the killer here? I thought you'd have her locked up by now. I requested she be present as a witness so we may straighten out your complex lie. Now then, Miss Tenario, between the hours of 5 and 6 a.m., you took a trip from first class down to the first floor of the flight shop, correct? Yes, I went to the shop to buy a suitcase. After which I went straight to the attendance room to drop it off. And did you see Miss Meal there at that time? No. So, Miss Meal, where were you really between the hours of 5 and 6 a.m.? Cammy Meal? Huh? What? Bathroom? I'll be the one to ask the questions here. Yeah, maybe that's it. I probably just missed her. Nature calls, you know? Do you take me for a fool? That's a little too convenient to be true. But it's the truth, cross my heart. I don't have enough conclusive proof to counter-argue her at this stage. You don't believe me, do you? Please, won't you give me a chance and hear me out? Yes, girl, tell me about your piss. Couldn't get through that one with a straight face. Look, I know you're suspecting me because I'm one of the crew, but you think that maybe you should also suspect Miss Rhoda too. See, she's the one in charge of the elevator keycard and the shop, you know? When does the piss come into the equation? You ask me, that makes her super suspicious. Please leave Miss Tenario out of the conversation. Only you are under suspicion for now. Why are you covering for Miss Rhoda all of a sudden? Oh, I get it. Maybe you've got your eye on her. I'll have you know, I am an ace attorney. Emphasis on the fucking ace. Of course, I'm keeping an eye on her. I can't very well let her escape, can I? Never mind. But you want to know something? Miss Rhoda actually kind of I have absolutely no interest in people who can't appreciate my sense of design. Damn it, Edgeworth. This is why you're ace. Now is not the time for this sort of talk. Yeah, get pressed. It's not the only reason I have for suspecting you. Your statement regarding Mr. Hicks also turned out to be a bunch of lies. But what if I wasn't an attendant? What if I was like a stewardess or something? Doesn't that sound kind of cool? You're like stewarding things? That sounds way cooler than being an attendant. Like, I mean, we all attend the flight. That doesn't sound like I do anything different from, you know, guy eating his bread and parfait. But if I'm like a steward, that sounds like I'm doing cool stuff like managing my domain and getting to have a larger number of provinces than my rebellious vassals. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I suppose that's true enough. Okay, it's a very, very good natural follow-up from the game there. See, we got some repartee there. Some good back and forth between me and the machine.
Hold it!
She is already being detained for further questioning, or have you already forgotten? Yeah, I guess I just forgot. Cammy, don't tell me you suspect me too. Sorry, can't help it. I mean, other than you, there's no one else who could have done it. I can't believe you would think that. I mean, me, a killer? Miss Meal, what did you mean by no one else who could have done it?
Hold it!
And what are you in charge of, Miss Meal? The meals? I take care of the attendance room. That doesn't count. Aw, but I spend so much time in there, it may as well be my responsibility. Mr. Edgeworth, Cammy is very talented in languages. So she assists passengers who may not speak English, especially those who speak Borgian. She is the only one in this flight who is fluent. Oh, you mean that kind of like what am I in charge of? Oh, why didn't you say so in the first place? What else could I have meant? Yeah, I'm good at Borgian. She's fluent in Borgian? I suppose you're in charge of processing documents in Borgian. Yeah, I take care of anything that has to do with Borgian. Very interesting.
Hold it!
I don't know if we can really connect the thing right now. Because, I mean, whether or not the document is fake and she certified it is kind of beside the point. And it's not really like a contradiction to anything she said. Well, I guess you could say, maybe if you go for the line of reasoning of like, oh, you're not fluent because you would have seen that this is fake. Well, granted, we don't know what this says, actually. Like... Because for all we know, the document, I mean, the document's not legit per se, but like if you were to read it, it may seem close enough. Because it's not like you were saying the document says it's fake. You know, the document says it's legitimate. Because I was thinking maybe we could go for an element of like she's not actually fluent, which wouldn't really make much sense either because we've seen her talking to dude and translating for him already. I don't think that evidence is important right now. Now, I guess when we're trying to connect her to the smuggling ring, maybe a little bit later. Your on-the-job behavior makes you super suspicious in my eyes. Huh? But why? While Mr. Nero is busy with the passengers and all their other duties, you have a lot of free time on your hands, thus providing you with ample time to commit the crime. Miles Edgeworth, I demand you cease and desist in this line of conjecture questioning. I won't allow you to bluff your way through this like a certain defense lawyer. But I do honestly believe Miss Meal does... I do not honestly believe Miss Meal does any actual work aboard this flight. That's not true, Mr. Edgeworth, although, well...
Hold it!
So what exactly do you do as the one in charge of some Borgian stuff? I do stuff like translate things. Cammy's the only member of the crew who understands Borgian, Mr. Edgeworth. Also, I'm on this side now. Miss Mia, I take it that it's your job to process all the Borgian handwork? Yeah, see, I totally pulled my weight around here. It would appear. Miss Mia, it's very unladylike to push suspicion onto someone else. It's not what I'm doing at all. I'm just saying that Miss Rhoda's very sus. Also, what do you mean it's not very ladylike? I feel like you shouldn't be conforming to ancient gender standards, Mr. Edgeworth. It's kind of problematic of you. You're not beating the allegations, Mr. Edgeworth. There you go, pushing everything onto her again. I don't get what you're saying. It must be a really abstract concept, huh? The only thing abstract here is the landscape inside your head. Fucking got their ass? I mean, I guess I present the... It doesn't really make much sense to me, but...
Objection!
So you are the only one in this flight crew that speaks Borgian? I mean, I guess if it says... I mean, she should have noticed that it says... was loaded in Europe, but when they were... But I mean, if she wasn't in the cargo hold... I don't know. It just seems kind of like a weak connection. What did you say there? You are the only one in this flight crew that speaks Borgian, is that correct? Huh? Yeah, I guess so. I studied abroad for a while. Is that the case? Then the signature on this document belongs to you, doesn't it? Ha ha! This is a falsified piece of documentation with only one purpose. To lead anyone who read it to believe that Mr. LeBlanc's statue was loaded in Europe. Yeah, but like I didn't really... I mean, my whole vibe is that I don't work at my job, so yeah, I signed it. I didn't read that shit. Are you crazy? God, I just feel like it's an allegation that's so easy to dismiss. As of, yeah, I just didn't read that shit. Have you met me? The only person who could have either prepared or processed this document in Borgian is you, Miss Meal. Without your participation, the smuggling of the Aleph Red could not have occurred. Don't sleep while I'm putting my finger at you! Oh, I wouldn't dream of falling asleep on you, Mr. Edgeworth. It's exactly as you say. Are you confessing to have participated in the smuggling? No, far from it. It's true that I was the one who signed off on that document. But you can't use that fact alone to make your allegation of smuggling stick. There's no direct correlation, after all. Oh, that's what that is. I was like, I couldn't really figure out what this was supposed to be. All you have is my signature on a piece of paper. All you did was sign it. I neglected to check if the cargo had been loaded onto the plane properly. So, sorry about that. I mean, she's got a point. It's like the easiest defense of all time. Seems she's finally woken up. This is going to be one tough fight. Suppose, and this is just a supposition, even if I was involved in the smuggling, you can't throw the charge of murder on me just like that.
Objection!
We can charge you for murder for anything. If you were involved in the smuggling, you'd have a strong motive to kill. Agent Hicks was in the middle of an investigation regarding a smuggling ring. And just when he was about to close in, he's killed by a member of that ring. Did you ever stop to think that maybe Rhoda's the smuggling ring member? Or maybe the dude's a dumbass and he fell? After all, unlike me, Rhoda has access to many things in this plane for work purposes. Oh fuck, bubble beam. Perhaps there's some element of a setup at play in this case. It even kind of had like the bubble beam sound effect, man. A little bit. What are you talking about? Oh fuck, oh shit. We're gonna get confused. Or no, have her speed lowered. Confusion, that's water pulse. Alright, it's not amateur hour here. Just because I haven't played a Pokemon game in like 4 years doesn't mean I don't remember the classics. Don't worry, I wasn't talking about you, I meant the killer. First it was myself, and now it's Miss Tenero who's under the microscope. Seems to me our killer is going to great lengths to pin this crime on anyone they can. You have no proof that Miss Rhoda is being set up or that she isn't. Actually, I believe she was indeed the intended target from the very beginning. I believe the plan was to push all the blame for the crime onto her. And this evidence will prove my suspicions. Proves the killer was out to frame Miss Tenero from the beginning. What evidence proves that again, by the way? Asking for a friend? Thinking suitcase? This is like the first thing where I'm like, I feel like the answer's not, like I don't immediately know what they want. But I guess suitcase.
Take that!
The killer could have hidden the body anywhere, and yet they chose the suitcase. Why is that? Perhaps it was to move the body up from the lower deck to the first floor. However, why go through the trouble to do so? The only way all of these actions make sense is if the killer had wanted to frame Miss Tenario for the murder. Miss Tenario buys a suitcase on every flight she works without fail. But should her suitcase be switched with the one containing the... Oh, okay, that actually makes sense. That would put her in a very tight spot. Unfortunately for the killer, the turbulence put an end to that plan. There wasn't enough time to put the body back into the suitcase. Ergo, they made do with whoever was at hand, adapted their plan, and tried to frame me as I lay unconscious on the floor from the as I take a quick nap on the floor to recharge my prosecutorial energy. You know, that's the thing about us prosecutors. Sometimes we need to photosynthesize, be one with the environment so we can really sense out justice. I was fully awake the entire time. The killer then went to hide the suitcase in the in-flight shop and brought the piggy bank back to the elevator in order to fabricate a false weapon. A lot of work for a fruitless endeavor, wouldn't you agree? Sounds like the killer had a tough time too, huh? I mean, why did the killer need to frame someone that badly anyway? Because of the special circumstances surrounding this particular case. What special circumstances dictated the need for the killer to frame someone? The killer was at a loss for what to do with Agent Hicks' body. As it just so happened, there were a bunch of empty suitcases nearby. Being a skinny man, the killer thought to put his body in the suitcase and hand it off. I mean the whole friend... What? No, I meant that he's a fucking Interpol agent. No, that's not what I said. You've wrongly deduced my meaning, Miss Meal. The one with the wrong deductions is you. Think for you... What the fuck are you talking about? It's the fact that he's an Interpol agent. I mean, if you're gonna say I'm wrong because of that, that's fine, but at least have him say the shit that makes sense. Don't have him say some dumbass shit. The need to frame someone? I guess where? Because they're about to investigate for the offloading? The special circumstance is simply the murder took place on a plane mid-flight. I mean, I'm fine with that, what I said being wrong, but at least have him mention the fact that it's the Interpol. Like, that's what I was going for. Not him saying some shit about he was a skinny dude. The fuck? No one who picked that meant that. No matter which country, customs is quite strict in this day and age. Oh shit, maybe 9/11 did happen in the Ace universe. No matter what you do, the chances the body will be found is very high. Therefore, there was no choice but to frame either Miss Tenario or myself. In other words, the only one who fits within the boundaries of the criminal's movements is not Miss Tenario or myself, but you, Miss Cammy Meal. Only you and you alone could be the killer. And? Are you done already? I was about to fall asleep again. About done with your shit, lady. I'll end the video on your ass. You think I won't? We'll go for a little bit longer. Because I do kind of need to end a little bit, like, on time. And if it's a situation where the case is about... I feel like we still got a little bit of juice left in the case. But if it does end in, like, the next, like... You know, if I end the video and it ends in, like, 20 minutes, I'll probably just, like, merge them together. But I don't think I have quite enough time to finish the case. Let's be honest here. You don't have anything on me other than a whole lot of circumstantial evidence. See the outline of how the murder occurred, but I have no definitive evidence. And isn't there a piece of evidence that's still unaccounted for? Something that I still can't quite fit into the big picture.
Take that!
I don't have any actual evidence. Thought not. But that's because it went missing and still is... missing? What do you mean by that? In the complex puzzle it is this case, there was one piece I kept getting stuck on. Okay, maybe we are at the end of the case. Because honestly, I don't really know what's left. That is the victim's cell phone. Francesca? Because it's like weird. It's like it feels like we still haven't really proved anything. Like we're not really backed into a corner. But I guess if we did find the cell phone, that would be a pretty definitive kill shot. The question is if we can find it. You were waiting at the airport for a phone call from Mr. Hicks' cell phone. Or Agent Hicks. And at least that's what you told me. That's right. He's not here right now. But Agent Hicks' cell phone could not be found at the crime scene. You mean the killer took the phone with them? Precisely. I suspect that if we were to find that phone, it would lead us to the killer. Come on, let's get serious. If the victim fell to his death from that height, wouldn't his phone break as well? We won't know that until we try a little experiment, will we? Francesca, I'd like you to ask for your assistance. You know the victim's phone number, do you not? Of course I do. 555-55-5555. Agent Hicks' phone! It's ringing! I hear, Detective. Now where is it coming from? It's in the fuzzy toy. Miss Meal, wake up! Sorry, Mr. Edgeworth. I got sleepy because it sounds like a lullaby I used to love as a child. I'd better find that cell phone fast. The phone is up in the flight attendant's room. Oh, okay. Holy shit, man. The Interpol thing, that thing just don't stop, man. It's just stay ringing. Alright, here's what we'll do. We will call it here, and if the flight, or the thing ends in the next, like, I don't know, 10-15 minutes, we will tack the start of the next video onto this. But if there's any, decent amount of meat left in the case, then we'll finish it up next time. I'm Extra Cheese 87. Stay tuned for the next part. And bye, guys.